Your sound is
Yeah.
back. We're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, chat room. Today is Wednesday, the 28th of November, 2018. On our panel is Costa, our Patricia, Flat Earth Dude may join us in a bit, and the lovely Martin Kenny. So, evening.
Evening. Hello, everyone.
Before we went live, I was just explaining, Martin, how everybody has just loved that hangout with you and Josh.
Yeah, it really was. We really really enjoyed it as well, and all credit to Josh, really. Like I said before we came on, when Josh brought this deeper etymology to me, I didn't quite get it. It took me about a week or so before the penny dropped, but when he did, it just opened a big can of worms. So it's all credit to Josh, really. It's fantastic what he's bringing to the table. It's something completely new.
You were also explaining that he's done all this himself.
Yeah, it's amazing, really, because normally what happens is people research something, and then the research leads you down a path, and then you sort of make that research your own sometimes, or you add to it. That's normally the way it goes. Whereas with Josh went off to Spain, he disconnected completely, and then just on his own, literally on his own, he started decoding the English language just in his garden, doing his gardening. Uh, and then he thought, well, there must be something like this out there, but I don't know anyone else talking about etymology like this. So when he came down to see me a couple of months ago, and I was like, I think I found something. What do you think about this? And we had a bit of a chat about it. And then it's only when we started looking into it a lot deeper, we realized that there is research out there to confirm this etymology and this breaking down of language. So it's amazing that he figured it out before the research. Yeah.
Well, you're pretty good at doing it as well, aren't you?
Yeah. I think I did it with the cosmic egg. Certainly, the cosmic egg. I figured that out before the research. But everything else, um, was research first, and then I added after the research.
Oh, your little one with you. I just heard that. Dad.
Yeah, he wants some water. He's supposed to be in bed, actually.
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm just saying it's been very well received, that hangout, and so everybody was just so positive. It was really nice. I'm really pleased for you too as well, and it helps your work as well, doesn't it?
It does. It does massively, massively. Because for me, the biggest thing for me is trying to get confirmation for my research. So I've been doing all this research for the last 2.5 years or so, and because a lot of it is new, and there's not much information out there that is as detailed as what I've done, it's very difficult. And because it's so many pieces from different places, it's difficult to get confirmation. So when someone does come along and they're able to confirm it from their own perspective, it's really, really encouraging for me, because it tells me that obviously at least I'm on the right track.
Yeah, and also you've got someone can talk to you, because obviously it's quite intellectual, all this stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah. That's another point as well. Yeah, good point. At least there's someone else to talk to about it, and that's the hardest thing, because the more layers of the onion that you peel back, the more you learn, the more you know, the lonelier the world gets, because the less people understand you, the less people you can talk to. And I suppose this is why secret societies were created. I was just speaking to a friend of mine this afternoon, and I was saying to him, if I had figured this stuff out 20 years ago, before the internet, I probably would have had to join a secret society just to talk to someone, just to have people to talk to, because I wouldn't have been able to know anyone else I can talk to, and I would have had to. So luckily enough, we've got the internet now. We don't have to join secret societies. You go on the internet and you find out that there are other people dotted all over the world who've peeled back as many layers as you to the onion, like yourselves, and who are able to understand and understand the stuff.
Yeah, well, the people watching got it, and like if you actually did go over the comments, because there's quite a few comments, you can see that everybody's saying, and this word, oh, that word, now I know
Yeah,
what that means. And it's brilliant. You really
yeah,
make people think.
yeah,
Hey, Flat
yeah.
Earth just joined us, by the way.
How we doing?
Hello, my
Hey,
darling.
buddy, you're right.
Hi.
Yeah, yes, I
I
can.
was just explaining what you know, how the last hangout with Martin, how it's been received, and everybody loved it.
It was very nice. Very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's amazing because once you get this code and you start breaking down words, you start, sometimes I just walk down the street and I'm breaking down words in my head. So I'll read a billboard somewhere and I'll start breaking it down, and people must think I'm just crazy because I'll be talking to myself, trying to work out the decipher of what the billboard is really saying.
Has it made you
Yeah.
even more articulate? Because we have someone that we follow, James. He comes from New Zealand, and in his version that he's doing is that he sees that there are 8 laws of anxiety, and that's what we live in. And a lot of people think that what they're doing is they're giving wisdom, but they're not. They're just giving their anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's going for the education system. I'm not saying he's actually a full flat earth or anything like that, but I put his little videos out on Sun and Moon. They're all on there, the 8 laws. But he's understood it so he's very, very, very articulate with his words.
Yeah, that's a good point. That we're not, a lot of us in the so-called truther community. We're not actually giving out much knowledge anymore, or much truth. Well, we are giving out truth, but we're not giving out much knowledge because a lot of it is fear-based, anxiety-based. It's all fear, fear, fear. So there isn't much positivity. The spells that people are casting out are very, very negative, which is unfortunate, really, particularly in the flat Earth community. It's all doom and gloom. It's all, oh, woe to us, woe to me. The world is such a bad place. They have done this to me. They've done this to us. So there's no real knowledge. It's just let's all feel sorry for each other and complain and whinge, unfortunately.
Yeah, and it's also going to be a bit of a one, isn't it? I was going to use another word then, but we're live. This narcissism that's in there as well, because we're quite a narcissistic society now.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And that's what happens when I think that's what happens when someone has no purpose in their life. I can say that because I've been there myself. And this is why I needed to get to the next stage of finding out, okay, fine, the earth is flat. Fine, we've been lied to. What's beyond that? Why are we being lied to? Who's lying to us? But most importantly, where is all of this going? Is there a purpose or reason for this? So finding that purpose gives you purpose in life, gives you direction. And I think a lot of us in the truther community, once we've become awake or awoken, there's no purpose, there's no direction. We're all just sort of waiting in limbo. We don't know where this is heading or what the point of all of this is. All we know is, we're living in this crazy world, and we're being lied to or manipulated or whatever, but there's no solution. So it turns you into a narcissist. It turns you into someone who's just bitter, who's angry, no direction. Unfortunately, that's most people in the truther community. People just don't move on from that.
And also, I like something else that you put. You said it on another hangout you had with us, that basically people are still in shock. They don't know what to do with it.
Yep. Yeah, oh, definitely. That's another one. People are still in shock, anxiety, like you said. People are anxious, people are in shock. And because there's so much information out there, this knowledge is a blessing, but it's also a curse. Many people start getting confused because if you're a Christian and you start seeing all this stuff about how Christianity is not literal and it's not this, and then all of a sudden you're questioning your faith, you're questioning your belief, your religion, you're questioning the things you hold dear to your heart. You're questioning everything. And that's a scary, scary thing to do, especially if you've got many of these programs, if you're attached to many of these programs. So if you're eating meat and people are talking about veganism 24/7. Every time you turn on social media, all you're hearing is people saying, stop eating meat, it's bad. And then at the same time, if you're a Christian, you're hearing people saying Christianity is a program, it's not literal, it's all astrology. And then if you're not a flat earther, you're hearing people saying the earth is not a globe, it's flat. I can just imagine how traumatizing that can be for anyone.
Yeah, recognizing the problems doesn't mean you've sorted them out, does it?
Yeah, exactly. That's just the first step. Once you recognize the problem, it's sort of like, how do I move on from this? And that's
I think
not
a
easy.
lot of us
Easier
who've been
said than
away
done.
for a while, though, do want to move on somehow, don't we? We want to move on now.
Yeah, I think so. But I also think that there are people that enjoy pain. There are people that genuinely just enjoy misery. They enjoy being in a state of misery, unfortunately. And no matter what you try and say to them to try and give them comfort, they always like drama. They always want to be involved in some sort of drama or some sort of craziness. So unfortunately, for whatever reasons, I can't understand. I'm not a psychologist, but it just seems there are some people that love that. It's almost like that person who's in an abusive relationship.
Martin, some of it is that you have to know who you are first. Because if you don't, you're never going to believe anything that's ever said to you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people still walking around with masses of baggage, not realizing they don't really know who they are. And so this is why they're backwards, forwards, left, right, don't know who to trust, upside down, the whole thing. And this is why they say things. And they don't realize those that go publicly and keep moaning and saying this person's all this, or this is whatever's going on, all they're doing is showing who they are as a person and what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
They think they're doing it about someone else, but all it shows me is what's inside that person.
Yeah, there's a popular quote in the there's a popular quote that basically says that let me try and remember exactly how it says. It says your perception of me is a reflection of yourself. So
Ooh.
yeah, so when people are judging other people, when people are name calling this, a lot of the time when you get to know that person, you find out all the things that they're mentioning are insecurities that that person has within themselves. So they project those insecurities onto other people. And that's a very sobering thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that then.
Yeah.
And then there are a lot of people who just want to move on together, Flat Earth Dude, Sun and Moon, Costa, people in the chat room, we all want to move on together now. And you have to just watch that ego thing. We're very ego based, aren't we, unfortunately, nowadays?
Yeah, unfortunately. And ego is probably the most difficult virtue to overcome for anyone. Because even especially when you get into this world of knowledge and truth, we've got all these people who become overnight celebrities, if you like, in the flat earth community. You've got people who all of a sudden have a platform, have a voice. And once you have a platform, you have a voice, you get subscribers on your channel, you get people following you on Facebook. And it's quite easy for that ego to just start creeping in. You start thinking you know it all. You start thinking you're better than other people. You start rejecting things that go against your beliefs because all of a sudden everyone's giving you high fives. So that ego thing is something I personally always have to be checking myself, looking at myself in the mirror and saying, am I remaining true to myself? Or am I allowing things to get out of hand and allowing my ego to take control? So that's the hardest bit of all of this.
The way I kind of see it is that we have to remain humble. We just do. Humble and open still. We just do. If you don't remain humble and take everything for granted, well, we're here today, gone tomorrow. That's the way I see it. I don't mean death. I just mean even on the channels.
Yeah.
You've got to remain a bit humble. And yeah. And maybe just we're ready. There's a lot of people ready to listen and want something else now, Martin.
Yeah, and that's good. I think as long as we're hungry for knowledge and we're moving forward and we're constantly challenging the status quo, and that's all we can do really. Is just move forward, progress one step at a time. And those of us doing that, energy my favorite quote of all, my favorite universal law is energy flows where attention goes. So, wherever we put our attention, that is where the energy is going to flow. And that is where we're going to get answers. Whatever you ask is what you're going to get.
Oh dear. Thank you for that. Remember that, everybody. What you ask for is what you get.
Yeah.
Costa, do you want to ask Martin anything?
Yes, Martin. Thanks for the things you're saying. It's really inspiring and connecting people from everywhere. This thing that you are saying about the North Pole and that, what did you learn from someone, or is it your studying or something? How did you come up with that idea? Because it's really fascinating. I mean, you are astrologically in text, ancient texts, and that. Can you explain to me, please, to us, to everybody?
Yeah, thanks, Costa. Thanks for the kind words. It's a bit of everything, really. So a lot of this stuff, believe it or not, most of what I've been saying is not from my head. There's actually research that talks about this stuff, but a lot of it is occulted. In other words, it's hidden, and it's hidden within esoteric texts, if you like.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to look into those texts. People like Manly P. Hall, people like Madame Blavatsky, people like what's his name? The other guy.
Aleister Crowley.
Aleister Crowley. So if they wrote loads of books, they put out loads of information about this stuff. But for whatever reasons, a lot of the time what they do is they mask this information with a lot of hocus pocus, spooky stuff. So you see the Baphomet, you see skulls and bones. They're talking about magic rituals involving death and all kinds of things. So it scares people away. So people see this stuff and they go, "Oh, this is satanic. I'm scared. I'm not going to look into this anymore." And I think it's meant to do that. It's meant to scare people away. In fact, Aleister Crowley said that we're giving this information out, but there are buffers. It's for the initiated, for those who see beyond that.
Yeah.
So that is where a lot of this comes from. Looking into a lot of these esoteric researchers of the past, and then trying to decode what they were trying to tell us or what they were saying. But it's also mixed with my own intuitive research. And I think this is something that can't be taught, what we call syncretism. You just can't teach someone to learn to be a syncretist.
Exactly.
In the same way, there are people who are mathematicians. Someone is just a mathematician. They just are. My son is fantastic at maths. We didn't have to teach him anything. He just gets it. He's a maths genius. He just gets it. So for whatever reasons, my thing is syncretism. I'm not that great with maths, but I'm very good at reading between the lines and connecting dots. And that's my strength. That's my element. That's my forte. So I'm lucky I discovered my strength quite early on, and I've honed in on that, and I've taken full advantage of that gift that I've been given.
I think what it was that me and Costa were talking about it before you came on, Martin. We were just saying, your clock, what you were showing us, all that is so detailed. Like, wow, where did you get, like, putting it all together? It's just, yeah. Is that right, Costa?
Yeah, and you think that they know it as well, that these secret societies or whatever, they know this stuff? About 2020?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I think at the highest levels, yes. I think once you get to a certain degree, like Freemasons or Illuminati, I think the low-level people, the musicians and some of the athletes, I don't think they get this deep knowledge. I don't think they get this much information.
Yeah, maybe it's not for them. Yeah, it's for them.
No. But I think the deep occultists, the people that that are right at the core of this, they know this stuff, and this stuff is definitely documented. I'm sure if you went into the Vatican vaults, the Vatican library, that library underneath the Vatican, all this stuff would be beautifully laid out in all the books underneath there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I also think that a lot of these occultists, just because they have the information, doesn't mean they understand it.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of that. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
just because you have a book doesn't mean that you understand what's in the book. And I think that is a big, big thing as well. So a lot of these occultists, a lot of this stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if those of us who are researching that aren't involved in secret societies, as we have awoken, we figured this, not only have we figured this out on our own, we've managed to understand it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they watch our videos and they're learning from us and going, oh, that's what that means. I read it in a book in the Vatican Library. I never understood what it means, but this guy's just explained it and it makes sense now. So I think there's a lot of that as well.
Yeah.
We weren't supposed to know, though, were we? It's obvious because everything is a lie. We weren't supposed to know all this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I think people have been the occultists or the elites or the controllers. I think they knew, obviously, like I'm saying, this stuff is documented. They knew that people will begin to awaken. When they brought out the internet, they wanted people to awaken. They leaked out things like flat earth and all this information, and they made it public for a reason. But I think they probably underestimated just how smart people can be or can get, or how awakened people can become. I think, this is just my assumption, they assumed that even if we give them the information, they're not going to be smart enough to understand it or to go deeper than surface level. So I think we've surprised them by going deeper and finding out things that that they themselves probably don't even fully understand yet. So I wouldn't be surprised
Yeah,
if
they've programmed us a different way, haven't they? They've programmed us completely away from everything.
Yep, definitely. And I think this is why now they're starting to try and censor. On YouTube, Article 13, I think is coming out in January,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know that. They want you to get involved, and they're saying that it's not even going to be they're going to sort it out in a couple of months' time. So how can you have a voice in something where the law isn't even there yet?
Yeah, I know it's a false paradigm.
My panel, that thing comes up, and I'm thinking, oh.
Yeah.
But you know something? I wouldn't have said that Europe was the biggest, outwardly. If I look at my admin panel, really, it's England, it's America, which includes Alaska. They've stuck those two together. Canada, Australia, and a few other places, but they're so low. Our biggest audience is the UK and America.
Oh yeah, definitely. These are what the Rastafarians call Babylon. So this is where all the action is. This is the capital of this world. Britain and the Americas are the capital of the world. So everything always leads from there. And this is where the highest energy centers are. If we're now looking at sacred geometry and energy centers and stuff, the UK and the Americas have the highest energy frequencies, if you like. So this is where all the action is, for sure.
Yeah, because the UK and all this is right in the midst of it all, isn't it? Of all the lies.
Yeah, and it's also interesting.
Yeah,
It's also interesting, Karen, that the UK and America are the two countries that have the most amount of integrated different cultures, different races, they're the most absorbed, if you like. So the most immigration in the world, where you find the most difference in variation of cultures and races is America and the UK. So that is also the reason why these are the countries where everything leads from. Because wherever you have a good melting pot of information and ideas, that is where the action will always be. It's almost that thing of, if you all remain in the same village, and you never mix with other villages, you're not going to learn anything, right? Because you're all the same. You're all thinking the same. You're all raised the same. You all have the same beliefs, same culture. So you'll never progress. It's only when someone from another village comes over and says, oh, I have a different perspective based on my experience from my village. And then someone else comes in and says, oh, I'm from a different part of the world. Here's my input. And then someone else comes in. And all of a sudden, you've got so many different people, contributing to the topic. with so many different angles and different opinions and different knowledge, and that's where you start to get real truth.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they've also made sure as well in the midst of it all, because everybody's got a story about how they don't like that person, that culture, that colour, whatever it is. But actually what they've done is, if you look at it, they've made sure everybody hates everybody.
Mm. Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's really confusing, you know, especially this multiculturalism thing. It's confusing because on one hand, you want multiculturalism, you want immigration, you want a mix of cultures and identity and all this. You want a good mix of people to come together and share ideas because that's how things progress. But at the same time, you don't want it to the point where it becomes claustrophobic, where it's rushed, where it creates chaos, anxiety. So it's almost like this is what they're doing. They're you know, you see it with in America, for instance, you know, these migrant trains. What are they called? These caravans. You know, so immigration is great, but they're creating this scenario where it's being turned into this nasty, crazy, God knows what it is. It's definitely orchestrated to create division and confusion and to separate people. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's one good thing about the internet is that it's made us able to communicate with each other. But that's not really what they want, is it? They just want you watching Beyonce or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely. But
So you think that it's in our favor? Internet will turn things around. It's so powerful, or is it the other way?
a bit of both. I think these, like we're saying, these occultists. They're not stupid. They're not idiots. These elites. They know how things work. And the most important universal law, like if you ask anyone who knows this occult knowledge, the most important universal law is free choice. Freedom of choice.
Yeah.
No one is allowed to take anyone's choice away, regardless of how much power you have. And if you're initiated and you know how the universe works, you know that there's serious bad karma when you deny someone free choice, when you take someone's free choice away. Now, these elites, they know this, so they do give us free choice, which is why they tell us the truth a lot of the time in movies, in books, in all kinds of ways. But
So
they mask the truth, they hide it. So as far as they're concerned, they're saying, well, we haven't lied to you. You just haven't figured it out. We did tell you the truth. You weren't smart enough to see it, or you were too afraid to open that box, or you were too struck in your program to see the truth. But we told you the truth. So
and not just that, it gives them the opt-out clause, isn't it? Because we did tell you.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's all there. So everything's on the internet, you know. They put it all out there, the internet, you know, they put all the occult books, everything is there. If you ask any question on the internet, you get an answer of some sort, or many answers.
Because the really strange thing is there's this whole thing about NASA and all that, going to space and all that, but you can find these companies. There's one in South America, there's one in Germany, there's probably a few more now that are making stars. They've got presentations, they don't seem linked, there seem to be separate people, and they're telling you that they can't make the stars more than 60 miles up. So what's that telling you? So the truth is there.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You have to really hunt for it.
Definitely. But it's there. You've got to want to find it.
Why isn't it all across the news? They can't make stars more than 60 miles up. You just don't hear of it. You've got to find it.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're very right.
Like you, though. That's what's happened with you, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it's just learning to see beyond the obvious. You know, you're given one narrative, but you've got to be able to see beyond what you're being told and dig deeper, and not be afraid to dig deeper. A lot of people are afraid of this stuff. They're afraid to go beyond anything that's outside their comfort zone, and that is a big buffer. It's a program in itself. Fear.
Yeah. When you clocked up with Josh and made friends and listened to what he said, did it change any of your work? Like, did it make you think, oh my God, that actually means more? Or did it mean that you had
Oh
to
yeah.
benefits?
Oh yeah. Massively, massively. Yes, definitely. It confirmed so many things, but it also I started seeing things from a different perspective, in a different light, and yeah, it was a new awakening for me. Like I said in the last hangout, that I've had many awakenings along this journey. So Josh was another awakening for me because it's opened me up to the realms of magic, real magic, like for real. Like we always say, oh, words are spells, and we're casting spells when you're saying words, or we always say that, we're all magicians and wizards, through our intentions and our words, but you don't really mean it. We hardly ever really mean it. We never stop to really say, how literal is this? So what Josh brought to me was the literal truth of how literal, how truthful this is. That when we say that words are spells, it is a literal truth. It is not just a saying. So that was the biggest one for me. But also in terms of the cosmology and stuff, it sort of helped me understand a bit more about some of the things that maybe I took for granted or hadn't looked deeply enough into. One of them being this place in the center, Eden and the Garden of Eden. I always assumed it was the same thing. That, oh, we're going to Eden, we're going to the Garden of Eden, it's the same thing. But when you look at it etymologically, it's not. Eden is not the Garden of Eden. Eden is the very center. The Garden of Eden is the realm that surrounds Eden. That's why it's called the Garden of Eden. So it's small things like that. When you look at them from a different perspective, you realize that, when you stop to really think about the words that you're using, things seem to make a bit more sense, or things become clearer.
Hmm.
So yeah. Hello?
Right.
Sorry, I'm here. I couldn't get my button off.
Oh,
It wouldn't turn off. Yeah, I can only imagine. But then it clarified it, didn't it, as well for you? It helped clarify.
yeah. Oh, massively, 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 yeah. Yeah, tremendously. Big clarification because, like we were saying earlier on, as I was going down this rabbit hole and figuring all this stuff out and trying to connect all these dots and trying to put all this stuff together, it just became lonelier and lonelier because it's like I was the only person saying this stuff, and it's like, am I going crazy? Am I going too far? Is this like, why am I the only person sort of figuring this stuff out to this depth? So it's nice when people start coming out and they are either confirming or disproving what I'm connecting or coming to. So it's nice when someone like Josh comes along and says, "Oh, I can confirm everything you've been saying from a different perspective using language. So you've been talking about the cosmic egg and this. Etymologically, you're right because of this. If you look at language, if you look at da. So it's just nice to get a different view or a different perspective from someone else who's come to this conclusion or come to the same thesis as me, but from their own different angle. It's a nice confirmation.
Yeah, and also he can help you a bit as well, can't he?
Yes. Yeah. And not just Josh. I mean, there are many people that I've been in touch with as well, that I haven't met personally, but online, we chat on Messenger and on platforms like Skype and stuff. I've met loads of people who've come with maps, come with books, come with ideas and all kinds of things that I've confirmed and sometimes also disproved some of my theories and my ideas and my research. But I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid to be wrong. I'm not afraid to question myself. And that's something I've got to remain virtuous with.
Yeah, and also when you were talking, like I think it might have been, I think it was more your hangout. I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was more your hangout. But you were saying basically, in the end, you're hoping that maybe we turn into a community that go and live there and live together and say goodbye to that sort of thing. And then somebody came up in the chat room with 40 acres of land, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. That was nice, and I think that will happen naturally. I think 2019 is the year where we are really going to start linking up now. Those who are for real. This is when we're going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Those who are serious and those who are just messing around. So a lot of people, unfortunately, are in this for the drama. They enjoy it. They're watching these videos and they're giving everyone high fives and going, "Oh yeah, I get this. It's fantastic. Isn't it awesome, Eden and all this?" But when you say to them, "Look, let's be serious about this. Let's really start doing something about this." This is when you really see who's for real and who's not. And I think 2019, those who are for real will start to really, really come together. Those of us who are serious about this and those of us who really get it and are genuinely on this journey, we are going to start making big, big moves in 2019. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. Myself and my family, we're definitely going off grid. We're coming out of this matrix. We're gonna move off this property that we're on. We're gonna go somewhere off grid. Maybe it might be even on the road. Maybe buy like a camper or something. Travel a bit, see the world. Pull the kids out of school completely. Start homeschooling them. Start socializing and meeting people, traveling. So a lot of that is what I'm personally planning to do. I've already started making big changes in my home as well. So where we don't use things like chemicals and soap, washing up liquid, a lot of these things that we take for granted. We're slowly starting to go a bit more natural. So we're bathing with lemon and bicarbonate soda instead of some chemical that's in a bottle or something. Not washing plates anymore with fairy liquid powder. So I know it's small things, but those small things just show how serious you are about genuinely getting back to nature and connecting back with Mother Nature. And it's not easy. It's really, really hard because we're so programmed, as I'm learning, and reliant on these things.
Yeah, well, they've made this, like I've said it loads of times, and I'm sorry I'm the same, but when I was younger, the grandparents, everybody, a lot of people had little allotments and were growing their own vegetables, and now all we do is go to the supermarkets. And I myself do it. Got used to it. That's the generation we are. But really, we should, even if it's microgreens, which Sun and Moon have a video on about microgreens, and you don't even need much room for that. You just need a windowsill.
Yep.
You don't need to have a room and go mad. You can just start growing a few of your own little microgreens.
Yeah, no, definitely. You're very right, Karen. You're very right. And you know what? The proof is always in the pudding, right? Everyone wants to change the world, but how many people are genuinely willing to change themselves? The amount of people that I meet who go, "Oh, Martin, this Eden stuff, living in love. I feel it so much, being connected to nature." And I say, "Oh, that's fantastic." So I take it you're plant-based, you're vegan. "Oh, no, I can't do that." Well, you can't.
How do you know you can't?
Hey?
How do you know you can't do it?
Well, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Have you even tried? Are you willing to try? Are you willing to take the steps?
Exactly.
I'm not saying stop right now today,
No.
obviously, but at least start making the steps and say, "Do you know what? Maybe I'll cut out meat. I'll have meat once a week. Let me start
There
that
you
way."
Yeah.
And people, a lot of them are not willing to do that.
No, you're right. It's a programming, and it's really hard to break the programming, as you know. It's incredibly hard, but kind of serendipitous. You were talking about 40 acres of land, and I had this conversation last night with a friend, fellow flat Earth friend, and we were talking about the money that was spent at this latest conference. He went to the conference for Flat Earth conference.
Yep.
And it was at this hotel, and people were dropping, thousands of dollars to go to this conference for 2 days.
Yeah.
What if we dropped that same amount of money and went to somebody that has some land for 2 days, and between 600 people, we could probably build 2 houses, and
Yep.
with the same amount of money. and then we'd have something to show for it. Plus, we got to get together, and I go, that's a really good point. That would be amazing. Good luck trying to get it. Maybe 20 people would show up. I don't think 600 would. But but even with 20 people, you could still build a small house or something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
And then somebody would have a place to go and maybe get started on their own.
Turn it more into we've got projects on the go sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we can still have a meetup. We can still get together. We can still, do other things, but we can also participate in a real project or something that would benefit everyone.
Yeah.
Very good idea. Very
it's like
good.
I'm in a position where I can help people get their instruments fixed. I know a lot of people. I know all kinds of people, and I help them out all the time, man. And I do it because I can. And then we need more people doing things because they know how to do it. If you are a plumber, it's really easy for you, man. You don't even have to think about it. But if you're not a plumber, man, good luck. It's hard, man. You got to have the right fittings and the tools and the glue and everything, But when the people that know how to do it, they can do it with their eyes shut. It takes no effort, It's amazing, and that's where the position I'm in, It takes nothing for me to fix a violin, I can literally do it with my eyes closed. I don't not even need to see the thing. That's how, confident I am because I do it all the time. And if we share our resources and our talents, that's where, like you say, the proof is going to be in the pudding, man. Who's willing to go do something? And you were right about that. I yield the floor.
Hey, can I just say something? I think you used the word in there, kind. That's something that we're not as a whole. I don't mean individually or people here, but I'm just saying a lot of people aren't kind anymore. And I would think that we are so this way. But if we understood the people were the most important and money was just paper, then it would be much better, wouldn't it? If that's the consciousness needs to change to realize without the people, you have nothing. But if we could just even learn that money just buys that, it's not money that makes you the god or important or loved. It's you, the person.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. That's very, very well put. And a lot of it is fear. We fear. This thing called fear is just such a big thing. And I have fear. I struggle with fear as well, massively. So again, when Josh came with his family and I said to him, I'm planning to do this and I'm planning to do that. And he said, well, why haven't you done it, Martin? And I couldn't give him an answer. So I looked at him in admiration and he was like, I 2 years ago, I disconnected. I left my job. I dropped my surname. I've not paid any bills for 2 years. I don't know what a letter is. I've not seen any letters from anyone for 2 years. I don't exist, literally. I'm a free man. If me and my family are free. We've got our beautiful bus that we travel around with, around the country. We go wherever we like. The world is our backyard. Wherever we stop, that's where we live. And we enjoy that. We have a little plot of land. We grow our crops. We feed ourselves. We're self-sufficient. We're self-reliant. And I thought, why haven't I done this? Why haven't I done this? Because of fear. So, it's only when you see someone else doing it and you start saying, do you know what, if he can do it, I can do it. You start feeling confident. And I think this is what's going to happen in 2019. Once, people start seeing other people taking these actions and these steps, serious steps, to free themselves up and prepare themselves, then everyone else, it will just become a domino effect, right? Everyone else will just slowly start to follow and go, oh, it's not so scary. It's not such a scary thing anymore. These people are doing it. I can do it.
I must admit that myself thought, I wonder why I'm here anymore in my life. My children have grown up. My daughter's, she's out every night. I'm thinking, I was thinking, I want to do something else. And I've even toyed with the fact of selling up and actually getting some kind of thing to travel in and just go traveling. Because I just...
Yeah, why don't you, Karen? That's a good
You gotta
question.
do it,
Why don't
Karen.
you?
You're single.
Yeah, she
Your
said
kids
that,
are
she's
grown
like,
up. It's time. It's time to do it.
Yeah,
I'm still looking after my daughter right now, but it might be something I do more nearer than further away because I just want to know what this life
Because
is.
it's
We don't want
scary.
it's scary.
So scary.
Scary.
Are you kidding me? That'll make your heart
Yeah,
pump.
I've got grandchildren. I really love them, and my daughter, my daughter still lives with me.
Yeah.
She's 19, but that's not that old. Once they go, they're gone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, grandchildren. I get it.
But on the other hand, I just think, well, I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore.
No, you don't. None of us do, man. That's the thing. I mean, some of us are stuck in really crappy jobs, man, and we have a mortgage, we got a car payment. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
I can't just pack it up. What's wrong with you? Yeah.
I'm not sure this is quite correct. I don't want to speak out of turn, but we had David on Monday last week when he came out, and he was sort of telling me that they think that they found this loophole with mortgages because what they do is the bank puts a what do you call it, a right on your property because of the mortgage. But the thing is, no money passes hands. So how can they have a right on your property when no money passed hands? It's just a figure in a bank statement. So they're wondering whether that's another loophole because mortgages, you find out everything is a con.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you will never win. Even if it is a loophole, that loophole is there within their construct. So you will never ever get through that loophole unless you've got 20 years of your life to spend fighting them in court, and you've got the energy to go to court every Friday and put appeals through and research this stuff in Black's Law's dictionary. And if you've got that energy and the time and the money, yes, eventually you will get your way, but it will take time and energy, and it'll be pointless.
Right.
Yes, I saw. I got that when I made the little trailer because Josh put law back to front is war, and you don't want to be messing around with that.
No. Don't even get into those realms of law, because you'll just hit a brick wall. Like it says, like the word says, you're not going to win because you're playing their game.
Right.
Yeah. So the best thing is to just walk away from the game and just say, do you know what? I'm walking. I do not want to play anymore. I'm not playing. Keep your law, keep your stuff, keep your money. I'm disconnecting. I'm becoming a free man or free woman.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Anyway, something else as well. I just wanted to say this. This is how they play games, and it wasn't me. This is Richard D. Hall, but he's not a flat earther, but he's into a lot of conspiracy, especially Madeleine McCann one. But he believes in space. But he was actually, what he was saying was that, oh my goodness, what was I going to say?
Break down the word believe for me. Believe. He believes in space. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, my thought has just gone out of my head. I hate it. I don't do that very often live.
No, you don't, but it's okay. I threw you off. It's my fault. It's all my fault. I apologize.
Oh, that's it. Basically, he was trying to explain something. He was saying there's an island, right, with 10 people on it, and they've all got, say, £1,000 each. So they're worth £10,000. And then he was explaining about why they're allowing everybody to move around and immigrants, and we're flooded and all this. Because he said, if another immigrant comes to the island, do you want one that's got nothing or one that's got £10,000? So which one would you pick?
Well, it depends, because the value of someone is not always in the money that they have.
Well, his explanation was, if you pick the one with 10,000, he's completely devalued your money. But if you pick the one that's got nothing, he needs to work, find a place, eat, sleep, buy clothes. So then he's working. He just bolsters your economy. And that's why they're allowing everybody to move around like this. They come with nothing, so they bolster the economy. So this is why they're doing it. So they're just lying about the state of the economy. How they do it.
Concept.
They use the people. Yeah, that was his concept.
That's pretty good. I mean, it certainly sounds logical. You know? It also
Yeah.
does a few other things as well. You know, it kind of disrupts the labor, keeps the labor costs down.
It's how they mask what's really going on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. But I don't think they're opening these borders and creating all this immigration, whatever, because they want to bolster the economy. Because the economy itself is a false construct. If they want to bolster the economy, they'll just print more money, like they have been doing.
That's
You know,
exactly.
it doesn't make a difference. They're doing it to create division, confusion, and chaos. So they open the borders, they let all these people in, and then they say, "Oh, have you guys seen all these immigrants coming here to take your jobs and rape your women?" Right? And then everyone who's not immigrant goes, "Oh my God, I'm scared. I'm
What
scared.
the-
I need to hate these people. We need to fight these people." And then these immigrants are going, "Oh, we all need to band together and maybe protect ourselves from these people that are attacking us." And all of a sudden, you've got a perfect concoction of divide and conquer. You've got all the minions fighting amongst themselves. When the reality is, there is enough land, there are enough resources to go around for everyone on Earth and some more. I think I saw a demographic the other day that said if everyone stood shoulder to shoulder, everyone on Earth stood shoulder to shoulder, we could fit in the state of Tasmania in Australia. Every human being on Earth. If everyone was put in the state of Tasmania, everyone on Earth and everywhere else was empty, we'd all fit in that one state. So when I looked at that, I thought to myself, yeah, that makes sense. So why are we all fighting about this is my land, this is where I it's because the construct is created that way. It's all about control. It's all about control. Divide and conquer, problem, reaction, solution. When there is no problem, really, when you stop to think about it. The problem is the people who are creating the chaos. You remove that equation, all of a sudden, there's no issue.
Yes, I kind of just thought about it when you were speaking. You know, he doesn't believe in a flat earth, the Richard D. Hall. In fact, he's someone where he's been laughed at for what he's believed in. And actually, he laughed at me. So I was a bit like, and I've been to one of his speeches, and I also was emailing him, and he asked me rather a lot about Hungerford, because we had obviously that horrible Michael Ryan who supposedly killed everybody and all these people in Hungerford and so forth. So I had quite a sort of rapport with him, and I supported him because he was one of the people that said that 9/11 was a lie and all that. But then he basically was really rude to me, and I just couldn't. I thought, what? But he's not a flat earther, is he? But he doesn't get the whole picture. Sorry, just my thoughts then on when you said, yeah, but it's two things, because that stuck in my mind when he said that.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit differently about things, but actually just changed my mind a bit again. It is sad because we're all immigrants, aren't we? I mean, my bloodline, not that I probably, maybe my mother told me, but it's about 5-6 years ago, I suddenly realised, all right, I'm half Welsh. And then the other bit is French, German and Jewish. So I'm an immigrant. I'm not even English.
Well, yeah, we're all immigrants. We're all just visitors, yeah. You know, people like to associate themselves with where you happen to incarnate in. I happen to be born here. So I own this place. I belong here. And if you weren't incarnated in this land, you have no right to be here or to be there. You must be where you incarnated. You must be where you were given papers, right? Where you were registered. That is who you are. That is where you must be. So again, it's all divide and conquer. When you really look at it, you know, the cosmic egg thing, again, all the different races and everything else, you begin to realize just how big the earth is, first of all, how vast, how diverse, and just how insignificant these little things are. These things are, oh, I'm French and you're English, so you should be in France and not in England, which is just madness. It's just crazy because it's just madness. It's just crazy.
Yes, I agree with you, but it's all crazy. But as you're here, you know this North Pole bit. Do you want to explain a bit more about that?
Yeah, well, what do you want to know, Karen?
Well, like we always assumed that was the other end, like maybe that was in Antarctica. You know, you're using like the pictures of the sunken clouds with like a hole in it.
Yeah.
And actually you're saying that no, that's the North Pole.
What do you mean? That people are saying that the North Pole is actually in the South Pole? Is that what you're talking about? Or
Oh, sorry, in the centre. The North Pole's in the centre. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, just talk a bit more about that. If people don't, a lot of people might not, understand all your model. It's a very fascinating part of that.
Yeah, the North Pole. Well, what can I say? There's a realm in the North Pole. There are maps. I mean, I'm not even going to say hundreds. There are thousands of maps. If you look for maps that go pre 1750, nearly every map that was cartographed pre 1750, they all show this landmass at the North Pole. This 4-island landmass. They just got rubbed out in about 1750. I think that's when they started sort of rubbing out this continent from our maps. So there's enough evidence for it. It's not even a theory as far as I'm concerned. It's not even a theory. It's not even something I doubt or say, oh, maybe it's there, maybe it's not. For me, that is a fact. There is enough evidence to make it factual. Perhaps the only asterisk that might be there is that maybe the lands that were shown there, for whatever reasons, are not there anymore. Maybe they were there at one stage, but they're not there anymore. So that's the only thing someone could say to me, because I've not been there, I've not seen them. And that's a fair enough argument. But it's a fact that for sure, 1750 and beyond, cartographers, map makers, kings and queens, all used maps showing this four-island landmass right at the North Pole. And then there are accounts of people who've been there. Admiral Byrd, Olaf Janssen, Arjuna, quite a few people from the 1800s right up to the 1950s who claim to have gone to these places. And sometimes they call it Hollow Earth or Inner Earth or whatever, but it's quite clear when you look at it that they are referencing these islands at the north, obviously. And then there's mythology. All the mythologies, when you look at them, all of them describe how they came from the north, and there's this hole at the north in the center of the earth. There's a land where life began. There's a sun there. This is where God lives. All kinds of things. So all these mythologies, these maps, and these accounts, you have to take all of that into account. And I think it would be extremely naive to just ignore it and say, oh, it's all just coincidence. I think that coincidence would be just too much of a coincidence. So as far as I'm concerned, I have no doubt whatsoever, in my mind at least, that there are lands at the North Pole. Everything else, I then build my hypothesis on top of that, like who lives there, how did all this come about, why don't we know about them, etc., etc. But that is a fact that, for me at least, that exists, that is there.
Yes, because everything is the complete opposite of what they've told us, isn't it? So, yeah, and those maps, many of us have seen those maps with the 4 pieces of land.
Yeah. And people have said to me, oh, what if they were mistaken or it's a psyops? And I would just say, well, why would all these ancient cultures go to the trouble of putting this mythology into their timeline if it wasn't true? Why would all those map makers, from the 13th century right up to the 1750s, go to the trouble of making every single map showing this island at the North Pole? Why would all these accounts of people who claim to have gone to these places make these claims if they weren't true? Why would all these things have been said or done if they weren't true? To what end? To what gain? Right? What does anyone gain from that? What do those cartographers have gained by putting those that place on maps? Why? Right? The mythologies, the ancient cultures, every ancient culture on earth, every single one, from Europe to Africa to Asia, why would they all describe them coming from a land in the north? Right? Why?
Yeah, and they keep us looking at the south, don't they? There's a question in the chat room from Unreal Times. Can you ask him if he thinks our government is waiting to enter this area as well?
What, in the north?
Yeah, that's what we've been
No.
talking about. Isn't it?
No, definitely not. They wouldn't be allowed. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. South, yes. Like I showed in my Cosmic Egg presentation. In the south, absolutely. The south is up for the taking. You know, they're descending into an iron age. So I'm pretty sure that this is why a lot of the intention is in the south. You know, when you see conspiracy theories, they're always talking about the South Pole, Antarctica. There's something in Antarctica. Even the globe people, you know, conspiracy theorists, UFO, alien conspiracy theorists. You see all these videos. Oh, they just discovered something in Antarctica. There are pyramids in Antarctica. Oh, weird creatures were seen in Antarctica. So everything is always looking at Antarctica for a reason.
Elongated skulls that obviously Brian Forrester's found, and also Marie Wheatley. She was on our channel yesterday. We've got them here. They look a bit different. You know, they look quite alien-like, don't they?
Yeah, and they probably are. They probably are alien to us, at least at the moment.
They're different humans.
Eh?
Different humans, and he reckons that. Well, they both reckon they had extra chakras in their heads because of this elongated thing.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, unfortunately, we've got this preconception of what aliens look like, and we expect to see these bulgy-eyed, gray things that are skinny and look weird and strange. When in reality, these extraterrestrials, when we meet them, will probably look very similar to us.
They
very
knew
similar.
they would find them, Martin, so they had to make aliens up, like outer space aliens, because they knew we would find them.
Yeah.
The only difference
Absolutely.
is archaeologists aren't saying it's like that. They're just saying they don't match our DNA. These are different humans.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. They are different humans. They are human, just different to us. And that is what a real extraterrestrial being is. These alien greys that we're shown, I think these are robots. These are not conscious beings. If they do ever manifest in real form, they will not be real life conscious beings. They will be programmed robotic creatures to try and control a certain narrative. But extraterrestrials are just different humans to us. Yeah, and that's what it is. In the same way,
aliens, aren't they? If they're some outer space, because then it could prove outer space for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the concept of aliens is very simple. I mean, if you went to a tribe somewhere in the Amazon or in Africa, let's say in Africa, and this tribe had never seen any other race outside their own race, and then they met a Chinese person, to them, that Chinese person would be an alien. It'd be like, you're not from Earth, obviously. You can't be from Earth. You don't look like us. You must be from, I don't know, some other world. And the Chinese person would say, no, I am from Earth, just a different part of Earth.
They should have done this about 30 years ago when we were so hooked into Space 1999 and aliens. They should have done it before. Doing it now means that, finding it out now means that everybody knows now it's something completely different. People are seeing that, surely, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if they'd done it 30 years ago, we would have believed them. Hey, aliens, they've come from outer space. Whereas those that are looking at this now, we don't see it like that. Can I just say, in the chat room, Harriet, can you ask Martin where I can get more info on the root wording?
Oh, man. And that's a question I get a lot. You know, people always say, oh, can you reference me a book or a channel, or where can I get this information that you're talking about? Where can I research this? Unfortunately, this is the nature of syncretism. There isn't a place I can point to and say, here it is, it's there, or here's the book. You know, syncretism, you've got to read everything and you've got to look at everything. So I can't give anyone one source of information. So a lot of the time when I do research, I don't just research out of one book. I research from many, many different sources. And by the end of it, I take what I need or what resonates, or what fits in, and then I see what makes sense, put it together, and discard what doesn't make sense. And sometimes I'll come back and say, oh yeah, this does fit in now. But it's not from one particular source. There isn't one source of information. So it's difficult for me to point out where. I'm trying to think of a good example of this. It's not like flat earth where you can say, show me a video of where I can get flat earth, and you say, oh, go visit Eric Dubay, that's a good place to start, or go visit this person, that's a good place to start. Syncretism is about saying, well, if you want this, you need to read the Avestas, you need to read the Quran, you need to read the Holy Bible, you need to read ancient mythologies, you need to look into occult scriptures or occult writings, you need to even read the Satanic Bible, the Bible, the Satanist Bible. You need to read even that. You've got to read everything, and I mean everything, without any fear or prejudice, with an open mind and a critical eye. And that's the only advice I can give. And then from there, you've just got to try and put the pieces together. So I can't give you a source.
Sorry, I'm being rude. Sorry, in the chat room, they said, I understand, stand. I've just found so many things, it's exhausting.
Sorry, what's exhausting?
They just said they understand what you're saying, or stand. I've just found so many things, it's exhausting. That's the person that asked the question.
Yeah. No, it is exhausting. It is. It's a lot of hard work. It's so much hard work, which is why not everyone can be a syncretist. I've been doing this, and I mean this, full time, 8 hours a day for the last 2.5 years. I've had to. I wouldn't have been able to do this if I hadn't. So I spend most of my life doing this because there's so much to go through. I can't even tell you the depths that I've gone to, the things that I've read. I don't even remember half the things I've read because I've been through so much reading and so much researching. It's unbelievable, and it is exhausting. So that comment is very, very valid. It's so exhausting. It really is. And it's easier sometimes to just say, do you know what? I'll just stick to the Bible now because this is too much. I can't deal with this. I can't handle it. I'll stick to my Quran or whatever religious text or source of information you glean on.
Yeah. But sometimes, like, I felt like, yeah, I can't do it. But even when you say that, you think, I have to.
Yeah. But again, it's really important to remember that we all have different gifts, right? We all have different elements. We all have different callings in life. Not all of us are meant to be teachers. Not all of us are meant to be healers. Not all of us are meant to be fixers. Not all of us we've all got different talents, different gifts, different things that we can bring to the table. And some of us, our talents or our gifts will come out at certain stages or at certain times. So it's just finding your element, finding your niche. Who are you? Who am I? What is my calling? What am I good at? And then bringing that to the table. So for me, for instance, I'll tell you now, I'll be honest, the health thing has been the hardest thing for me. I really struggle with food, with my health. It's been the biggest issue for me. Even when I became a vegan, I was probably one of the most unhealthiest vegans on earth because I just love food. So I would eat the dirtiest vegan food out there, right? And I would kid myself and saying, well, at least I'm not killing animals, but I wasn't going all the way. I wasn't doing it properly. I wasn't, taking that step to become plant-based has been so hard for me. But the teaching and the research, I love it. I find it easy. I read something, I can read between the lines, I get it, I see it. I find it easy to relay it, to make videos, to teach people. That comes so naturally to me, and I love doing it. And it just feels natural. It feels like that's my calling. And then someone like Josh comes along who's mastered the health side of things, because that's something else that he's really helped me along with, and he's gone, right, okay, let's tackle this. And for him, he finds it easy, the whole health thing, and he explains it easy. And when he explained it to him, I was like, oh, right, okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's why this is, because that's his calling, that's his thing. Same thing with the language. He just got it. It took me a while to get it. And even now, sometimes I'm still like, oh, this is a bit deep. but he just gets it naturally. So we all have our different talents. Someone mentioned about being a fixer, fixing instruments. Was it Flat Earth Dude?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, right. So that comes naturally to him. That's just something he can do. I can't do that. I'd love to be. I can't even play an instrument. I struggle to play instruments. I'd love to. It's just not my strength. It's not my thing. So let alone fixing them, I can't even play any. So it's not about trying to do what other people are doing or copying. If there are people out there that you're learning from and you're getting what you need from them, great. There's no need for you to try and compete, to put it that way. You need to find your niche. What are you good at? And then hone in on that and teach people and pass on that gift of whatever it is that you're good at to those people that might need it.
You're very right about that, but I'm hoping as well that it's also we're coming together as there's a frequency between us, isn't there? There's some kind of consciousness that we're resonating with.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Absolutely. There is a frequency, there is a resonance, and those of us on the same journey, we are finding each other now properly. We're starting to find one another. We're starting to learn from one another. We're starting to grow together. And it's only going to get better and better and better. But the most important thing I would say to anyone is know thyself. Find yourself. Know who you are. Know what you want. Ask yourself, what do I want? What am I hoping to achieve in this lifetime, on this journey of awakening? What is my contribution to myself or to the world? Sometimes it doesn't have to be something you're giving to the world. It could be something that you're doing within your community, within your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, that you're going to make a difference. So the difference is not about, some people will have an impact with millions of people, others with a few thousand, others with one or two, but no one is more important than anyone, right? We all have a role to play. Just find your role and walk your journey and enjoy it.
Yes, on the same spiritual journey. I would like add, know yourself, see yourself, accept yourself, and be yourself, and then you're more of a spiritual master, even if it takes many years. That's where hopefully you're heading. Know yourself, see yourself, accept yourself, and be yourself.
Yeah, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And a lot of my research as well, I don't get to say this a lot, but I wish I could thank all the YouTubers out there that I learn from. I spend a lot of time watching a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of them are not even flat earthers, right? So most of my stuff doesn't come from people who are flat earthers. It comes from people who still believe in the globe. But just because someone is on the globe doesn't mean they don't have knowledge or information you can learn from, right? It doesn't mean that. So there are things about health, there are things about all kinds of things, frequency, energy, all sorts of things that I learn from other people who are not even associated to or probably not even on the same journey as myself, but I still learn from them. I'm still open enough to say I'm willing to learn from anyone. I don't care what you believe in. If there's something I can learn from you, I will learn from it, I will grow from it, and I'll take it in my stride and I'll move on.
Yes, also just to add to that, because obviously lately we had a debate, a flat earth and globe debate the other day, last week with Mr. Fry. Even James, who comes on, James Mason, he's not so bothered about what shape we are. He's more concerned about this anxiety thing. That's what's got him. And obviously we had Brian Forrester yesterday and Marie Wheatley. They're not flat earthers, but they don't mind coming on a flat earth channel. So
brilliant.
We have to stay open, and they've still got pieces of our puzzle.
Beautiful. Absolutely. Yes. We have to be open-minded, and we have to be willing to learn from anyone, regardless of whether they share the same beliefs as you. If I cut off everyone who didn't share the same beliefs as me, I would be learning nothing, because I would stop speaking to anyone who's not a vegan or who's not plant-based, never mind vegan, who's not plant-based. I wouldn't speak to anyone who's not a flat earther. I wouldn't speak to anyone who's religious. All of a sudden, there's hardly anyone to speak to, right? There's hardly anyone to learn from. So I don't discriminate or...
People people don't think maybe, you know, like, because everybody wants to hear, like, all the people go, yes, we believe in flat earth, I'm a flat earther now. But in their world, or sorry, the globe world, they're still outrageous for the things that they believe in now. They're still
Yeah.
like the revolutionary archaeologists and things.
Yeah.
Even if they still believe we're a spinning ball still, but you know, they know that it's all, most of it's a lie.
Very true. Very true. A lot of confusion, unfortunately. But that is the nature of all of this, you know. We're shifting from one age to another, we're awakening. So there's bound to be confusion. It's almost like, imagine bears hibernating, right? Imagine 300 bears, just to give you a contextual analogy. 300 bears have been sleeping in a cave for a year, right? And they almost forgot, in that hibernation, they forget that they've been hibernating. And as they wake up, they're all going to be grumpy, right? Grumpy bears, because you're waking up. You're always grumpy when you wake up. You wake up grumpy, especially if you're sleeping for a long time. You're grumpy, you're confused. They're all looking at each other like, oh, where are we? How long have you been sleeping for? Like, what is this? You know, why are you sleeping on my leg? You know, get off my leg. So there's confusion, there's anxiety, there's all these things. So we've got to be patient. Those of us who understand this or are at the stage of understanding this just have to be patient with those who are struggling with this awakening. And that's most people. Most people are struggling with it, unfortunately. But it's just the way it is. It's the way things happen. Eventually the dust will settle and things will sort themselves out. It might not be next year or the year after. It might be 100 years from now, 50 years from now. Who knows? 5 years from now, who knows? But eventually things will settle down and there will be some sort of normality, as best way I can put it. And life will go on until the next awakening, when things will be ruffled up again and we'll go through this all over again.
Do you think the difference this time is it's actually the people waking up?
As opposed to
being completely programmed and somewhere else. You know, this time round, in this realm, if you want to say, the people are waking up spiritually.
Yeah, I mean, with every shift, people will always wake up or fall asleep, right? So the last shift that we had, because we were coming out of a golden age and getting into an iron age, we had to fall asleep, right? Because we're resetting, we're starting again. So the old had to be washed away. This is what you talk about, the great flood, the deluge. So we washed away all the old had to be washed away, and we had to start again, begin this new Aryan epoch, fresh slate. But within that construct, there have to be people who are managing the property, managing the place, if you like. This is what we call the elites, the controllers. They've been the property managers. Unfortunately, they've been bad property managers. They've been managing this construct, this realm. They've been managing us the wrong way for their own gains over time. But then it could be argued that maybe it was meant to be that way because it is the Iron Age after all. So the difference is, now that we're awakening, we are now waking up. We are now realizing things. We are now finding ourselves. And in that awakening, we're realizing that, oh, these property managers, these managers that have been managing this property of this realm, have not been doing a good job. They've been lying to us. They've been manipulating us. They've been doing all these different things to us for their own gain. And we're not happy about it. We're confused. We're scared. We're anxious. We're, you know, all kinds of things. So you're right in saying that the difference is that we're waking up now. But the awakening will always get better and better as we ascend. So the next one, when we come out of the bronze, get into the silver age, will be less chaotic than this one. That's for sure. It will probably be more enjoyable because we'll now be half awake. It won't be a full awakening. It will be a half awakening. The awakening will be less traumatic than the one that we're having now. This is probably the most traumatic one for sure. Coming out of iron into bronze.
Thank you so much for that. There's another question for you, Ashia. They've said, I have a question, Martin. Does he know about the Royal Rife? he can work great, can generate great frequencies which can be adopted by the body. I can tell you more. It's amazing. I think he's talking about the Rife machine. If you set it on the right frequencies, it can cure anything.
I haven't looked into it. I've a few people have sent me links and stuff. I'm very intrigued.
Well, I mean, it's there, but in a sense, as this thing works so well, and it was actually made in the 1800s, why aren't the hospitals using these? They could save lots of money.
Oh yeah. I've not looked deeply into it, but again, there are just so many things that once you look into them, you start to realize that everything is so backward. If we just started healing people with marijuana, with cannabis, we would not need any of these pharmaceutical products that we need. We don't need them. We don't. They're killing us. They're doing the opposite. All you need to heal yourself is cannabis. That is all you need. Cannabis will realign your endocannabinoid system, cannabis and a plant-based diet. You have those two things, you can heal anything on earth, anything, and I mean it. And when you speak to Josh next week, he will tell you Josh has been healing people. That's partly what he does as well. He goes around the country healing people. He's healed people with MS, people with cancer, terminal cancer, people who are on the deathbed, and now they're healthy, well and healthy. They're functioning like normal people. And all he did was say to them, go on a plant-based diet and take cannabis as a medical protocol, not just smoking it to get high, but as a medical protocol, and you'll be better within 3 months. And the people that took the advice were better. They were healed within 3 months. So everything we need is in the plants. Everything we need is in the plants. God put the plants on the earth to heal us and to regulate our bodies and our spirits and our souls. It's all in the plants. The problem becomes when we take these plants and we start turning them into other things and putting chemicals and mixing them and doing all these things that are not natural. That is when we have dis-ease and we have chaos and strife within our bodies and our minds and everything else.
There's another question for you from Super Leeds. He says, has Martin heard of the tree? Oh my goodness. Morninga. It was Moringa.
Is that tree as in Tree?
Yeah, Tree.
No. What is that?
Super Leeds.
Hey?
Write it in the chat room.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, see, a few things today. See, always research. You can never stop researching, can you?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm prepared to have my mind blown. I'm intrigued. What is that tree? Mogina?
Shall I look it up then? He's not come back in the chat room, so I was just writing to people in the chat room. Hang on, I'll look it up on my
Yeah, I mean, they can always leave links and stuff, and we'll come back and revisit it.
Just going. Oh, right, yeah. You can buy it, yeah, organically. Yeah, you have to look it up.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's quite a lot about it. Thank you, Super Leeds. Yeah, so you're not living in a house anyway. You're already living in, something that's mobile.
Who, me?
Yeah, or that's what you want to do.
That's what I want to do. No, I'm still very much tied down to a proper tie. I'm tied, unfortunately, at the moment. But I've started taking the steps to free myself from it, and free myself and my family, and just start living, really. So that's the next step. That's what we're doing. 2019. That is the big step for us.
So what happens if people want to join you?
Yeah, well, we'll be on the road. We'll be recording ourselves. I'll still be active on social media. The content of what I'm sharing will change. So I've reached the stage where I don't think I'll be sharing any more research. I think I've done my bit, I suppose. I sort of now have a understanding generally of where I'm going and what I need to know for now. Not to say I won't keep searching, but I think the stuff that I share, the content will change. So a lot of it will be lifestyle based. I'll be sharing with people what I'm eating on a daily basis, where we're traveling to, what we've done, how we're living, um, and just encouraging people to free themselves from the matrix and pull out of the matrix. And that's the only way we can defeat the system, is to stop playing the game. As long as you're paying bills, as long as you're tied to a property, as long as you're paying your mortgage, as long as you're paying your car payments and all this, you are contributing to the system. You are part of the problem, unfortunately, as I am a part of the problem now. So I can't say, oh, they are doing this to us, because I am part of it. I'm contributing to it. And that's the hard, honest, that is the bitter pill that I've got to swallow. Now, the question becomes...
I agree with you. I agree with you. Do you know something?
Yeah.
I thought about something just then, flicked through my mind, that when I was obviously not realising we were a flat plane and all that, I looked at the statistics they were giving you, and really, when we were voting, it never said 75% voting. You know, what I'm saying is there was always a great section of people who weren't voting, and I used to think, well, why aren't they voting? Because we've been told we fought for, you know, that we went to war, you've got the right vote. Now I realise, well, there was a lot of people not voting anyway. So if more of us don't vote, surely there'd have to be a vote of no confidence.
Absolutely. It's that simple. Just don't participate. It's really that simple. If we stop participating, then the whole thing stops working. It's pointless. You know, there's a vote of no confidence in the system. If we all stop playing the game, then the game has to stop, right? Everyone has to start questioning themselves. It all starts to fall apart. Now, I'm not saying that it will happen overnight, but I'm saying for me personally, if I'm talking about changing the world and I want the world to change and I don't like how things are and I don't like the monetary system, I don't like how we're being controlled and manipulated, then why am I still playing the game? Why am I still participating? Why am I still paying for Netflix? Why am I still paying car payments and my mortgage and all these things? Why am I still paying, subscribing to the game? I'm a hypocrite, right? And that is a bitter pill to swallow. I am a hypocrite by doing that. So until I personally stop playing the game, only then can I have a voice and say, do you know what? This stinks and this needs to stop and this is bad. And actually, you can have a richer, healthier, happier life if you stop playing the game, if you disconnect. And that's what we'll be doing. And I'll say, well, I've done it. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I've done it. This is how I've done it. And I'm happier for it. And here I am.
Well, I might be joining you.
Let's do it.
I feel all right now. But anyway, because it just, you know, is this it for the rest of my life? I don't mean my personal bit. I don't mean this bit. I mean the other bit, the work bit, the globe bit that you live in.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's only when you disconnect from all this, you start to realize just how easy it is. So for instance, like Josh and Michelle and his family, because Josh has got a wife, he's got a 2-year-old son as well. So it's not like he's just on his own. He's got his family with him. So, you know, when he left here on Sunday, they went off and the next morning they woke up and they could have been on the beach, right? And they're like, oh, we woke up, we parked at the beach, we parked our camper van at the beach. We woke up in the morning, we had a fantastic breakfast, we watched the sun come up, we took a walk along the coast, we came back, we took a drive to this place, we met other people who are on the same journey, we went to visit that person, we took our son to this place, we taught him about this. They're so free. And I'm over here worrying about this bill and that bill and picking up the kids from school and, you know, is this done, is that done? And I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing? This is crazy. What am I doing? I'm not living.
That we weren't supposed to think. Well, not think like they thought we would. They wanted us to think about, like I said, Beyonce and all that crap, football, whatever, drink, going out. But they didn't want us to think.
They don't want you to be free. That's the word, freedom. They don't want you to be free. They don't want you to be free. And that's all these things, this Beyonce stuff enticing you, is to keep you playing the game, to keep you in the game, to keep you dreaming, to keep you chasing, to keep you paying, to keep you participating, right? And they demonize anyone who's not playing, right? The moment you're not in the system, oh, you're a loser, right? You don't have a career, you don't have a job, you're not paying bills. Oh, you don't have a mortgage, you're not on the property ladder. Wow, you know, you're made to feel a certain way because you're not conforming to the norm, right? You're not being like everybody else. Little do they know that you are free.
Or if you move into a house where you don't register the electric and the gas and all that, I think you have to be signed up to somebody.
Well, yeah.
Whatever the house has got, you've got to be signed up to them. Somebody. It's against the law if you don't.
Yep.
Crazy, isn't it? I only realised
a
little while ago, obviously Flat Earth, just like all these things that come out of you that you'd probably never bothered to listen to or worried about or looked into, and then suddenly ding, 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 ding. Oh, dearie me. I understand what you're saying, though. What you're saying is you feel at the moment that in a sense you've got to where you want to with your work. So you can't keep adding. You can adding it as it changes a bit, maybe things change or you understand more, but not like you're going to keep going on and on because you've kind of got to where you want to be with it.
Brilliantly put. Yes. And anyway, now it's the next phase for me is definitely just walking the walk instead of talking the walk. I've been doing a lot of talking. It's time to practice what I preach, right? Start walking the walk, start doing the things that I'm talking about, start freeing myself from the matrix, start being the example that I would want to see in others as well. Learning from other people who are already doing that work. There are many people who've disconnected that I'm starting to meet now. And it's really, really encouraging. And it's given me confidence. Because one of my fears was my kids. I think if I was single, I probably would have done it a long time ago. If it was just me and my wife, we probably would have done this. But the fear for me has been my kids. Like, I've got young kids. I've got a 4-year-old son and a 7-year-old son. And it's like, right, do I pull them out of school? Like, they've got a life around that. They still enjoy that company and all those things. Is it going to upset them or disturb their process? And I'm starting to realize that absolutely not. Absolutely. It's my fear. I'm making excuses. That's all I'm doing. I'm making excuses. So what I've learned from people who've now come and they're showing me that they've done it, that their kids are much more fulfilled and enriched and smart because they've come out of the system, because they've got time with their parents. They're spending quality time, real time as a family, and not just after work when everyone's tired and it's the end of the day or whatever, but every waking moment you are together, you're a family, you are free, you are happy, you are learning from one another, you're giving them the most attention that they can ever have. And that is all children want. They want attention. They want your time. And we forget that.
Also, you just explained it the other way around for school education. What are they getting there? A teacher with their back to them, working on a blackboard for hours a day, and they're just supposed to copy it.
Exactly that. Exactly. I mean, for me, it's not so much about them missing out on education, because I know obviously education is a sham. My son knows that as well. I correct everything they're teaching him. So we sit down every day, we have a chat about what he's learned, and if it's not sinking in with myself or my wife or with him, we try and correct it and discuss it as a family. But for me, the biggest thing is his friends. At school, he's got a circle of friends. He enjoys playing football. He's very athletic. He loves his sports. He enjoys school. He's a really intelligent, like I said, he's really good at maths and English. So he enjoys mathematics and English and all those things, and he enjoys that environment. So I feel guilty about taking him away from that, because he likes that environment. But at the same time, I'm starting to realize that he'd be much more fulfilled if he was around other children who are the same as him, Because a lot of the things he says to me a lot, the older one, the 7-year-old Sebastian, he always says, sometimes school is boring. It's too easy. It's boring. I don't enjoy it. You know?
How old is he? 7?
7, yeah. So if he was at home and we were traveling and we were seeing the world and he was learning about the world whilst living in the world, he'd be a lot more stimulated than he is now. I'm starting to learn that actually school is actually holding him back, and he could be a lot more progressed than he is now if he was out of that caged environment.
Yeah, you said living, didn't you? You said living.
Living.
We're existing.
We're trying to survive. We need to start living. Yeah.
Costa, you're still there. You've had your microphone off. Was there something you wanted to add?
Yeah, enjoying the conversation. It's really interesting stuff. What I was thinking of is about that microchip. The government started planning to microchip people, or what's happening? Do you think that you know, Karen or Martin?
Yeah, I think that is the ultimate plan eventually.
Yeah.
Once this so-called New World Order comes into effect, everything will become very digitalized, try and pull people away from nature, like we're saying, and trying to make everything a lot more virtual. So it's the thing I always say to people is we shouldn't live in fear. We shouldn't be afraid of these things. You know, in the 80s, I was speaking to someone and someone said to me, in the 80s, they were saying that, oh, one day we won't be using money. Money will be on plastic. There'll be plastic cards. You'll pay with everything with plastic cards. Money will become obsolete. And there were people back then saying, oh, that's the Antichrist. It's devilish. It's bad. You know, when your bank gives you a plastic card, don't accept it. Refuse it, because that's the Antichrist. Now, today, we all have bank cards and we use it without thinking, right? It's just part of normality. It's the same thing with microchips. We're afraid of it because we don't understand it yet. But when it does come in, it will naturally just come in. And 100 years from now, people will laugh and say, oh, remember when people were scared of microchips? Now we can't live without them.
Yeah, they'll bring it in a nice way. It's not going to be something that...
No, it won't be a nasty, scary, bad thing. There's a lot of fear-mongering in there, but human beings, we're always afraid of things we don't understand. Now, I'm not saying microchips are good. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, for the world that is coming in this realm, there will be a necessity and there will be a place for those things for a while, for a time. And eventually things will come full circle and things will change back to nature eventually. But when those things come, if I am here, I won't reject them eventually. Because if I want to survive in that world and I want to be here, I'll have to accept it in the same way I've accepted television, in the same way I've accepted computers and phones and bank cards. And there are a lot of people who don't accept them to this day. They still say these things are things of the Antichrist. If you've got a mobile phone, if you've got technology, get back to nature. What are you doing with a phone, mobile phone? You know, it's the Antichrist. What are you doing with a TV? Well, it's the world we live in. You can't survive without them. Well, you can, but you'd have to alienate yourself completely. And right now, where I am at this point in my life, I'm not quite ready to completely alienate myself from reality to that extent. So I'm not afraid of these things. I celebrate technology, and it's not something that I want to progress with, not the way it's going. Hence why I personally feel like if there is an option to go elsewhere, i.e. Eden, the Garden of Eden, where there is a different way, I would rather take that than stay behind and continue to fall into this paradigm that is coming of microchips and highly advanced technology where, machines are almost now mixing into humans. It's not something that I personally want to participate in. But living here, it will be impossible for me not to participate. Not impossible, but it'll be very, very difficult.
I think they'd like to stick a chip in everybody, wouldn't they? Because then they want the information and know where you are. They're able to monitor. Just if it feels
But we're there already.
Yeah, I know that
Karen.
some companies do it, don't they?
Well, we're there. You know, they know where you are with your mobile phone. If they want to find you, they'll track you. If they want to listen into this conversation, they will listen. They have the technology to do it now. Your TV, your mobile phone, your they can do it now. So this is not something in the future. This is something that is possible now. The only difference is they are now making it public. It's now not hidden anymore. They're now saying, "Oh no, we're telling you that we're doing this now. We've been doing it secretly, or we've had the ability to do it secretly, but now we're going to do it openly."
Yeah, and people are voting for it.
Well, that's the thing. And the other thing is, what is the alternative, right? What is the alternative? That's the big question. What is the alternative? You know, everyone wants things to change, but no one is actually leading the change. And that is the problem. Everyone's saying, "Oh, these microchips, technology is bad." And then you say to them, "Well, what's the alternative?" "Well, we all need to go off grid." "Well, are you doing it? Show us. You do it. You set the example, and then others will follow." "Oh, no. I like my comforts. You know, I can't live without my computer or my phone." "Oh, yeah." Well, then stop complaining. Get on with it. I know it's harsh, but that's the reality. That's the truth.
Mm.
That's the truth.
If we went back to realizing it's the people that are the most important, then how we view those things would change. Even we would view it all differently and put it into perspective.
Exactly. How we view them would change. Yeah, you're right. We can't celebrate technology and then say to the people that have given us the technology that and dictate to them how we want them to use it. Right? If I invent something and I sell that invention to people, or I offer it to people, and people buy into that invention, then if those people then started saying to me, "We don't like how you're using the invention," I'll just say, "Stop using it. Stop bloody using it. Or make your own invention. Come up with your own system then." So I find it very funny when I see people on Facebook going, "Oh, bloody Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard, controlling me, censoring me. I hate Facebook." And they're doing it on Facebook. And it's like, well, if Mark Zuckerberg did create Facebook and he owns the idea, he's entitled to do whatever the hell he wants to do with Facebook. That is his entitlement. Because it's his business. It's his business. Right? You either need to mind your own business or create your own business. Right? Don't tell Mark Zuckerberg how to run his business. That is his business.
Is the reason that we can talk to each other at the same time. So it's a bit double-edged sometimes. That's what I'm saying. We need to just put things in better perspective.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. So I just find it strange when I see people complaining about the system or about things, but they don't have a solution to anything. All they'll do is complain. And I do it sometimes. I'm not picking on anyone. I'm just saying this is something that, like I'm saying, we're just about awakening now. There's a lot of confusion. I find myself doing it, complaining. Then I say, hang on a minute, why am I complaining? I subscribe to this. Who am I complaining to? Right? I am paying taxes. I am paying for these things. I am contributing to the system. So I am part of the problem. So who am I complaining to? The only solution is I either shut up and get on with it, or I opt out of whatever it is I'm complaining about and either create my own solution or find another solution maybe that someone else has, or move away from that. Right? Everyone has a choice, free choice. No one is forced. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah. So we're just used to complaining about it rather than doing something about it. But that's something else
Yep.
they've done with these generations. They've made sure that everybody's not responsible for themselves. And then when you
Yes.
start to become more responsible for yourself, then you start seeing things differently.
Yes. Responsibility. We're all still children. All of us. We're all still children. We're all still so immature. We're just throwing our toys out the cot. Oh, they're doing this, to hell with these controllers. Now, if I was one of those controllers, I'd be saying, well, yes, you're whinging. So what's the option then? Please tell us a solution. What would you do? Tell us how we should run the banking system. You tell us. Oh, I don't know. I just know that the way it's being run is bad right now. Well, then shut up and get on with it if you don't have a solution.
Revolutionaries then, aren't you, really? A lot of armchair revolutionaries.
That's it. A lot of armchair revolutionaries. No one is willing to go out and do anything about it. We're all just sitting on our bums and complaining and whinging and pointing fingers at everyone else.
We're good at that one, though, aren't we?
We are. But I've made a vow. That is my resolution for next year, is to start walking the walk and taking the steps, one step at a time, towards where I'm going. I've got to stop preparing. I've got to stop just doing lip service and actually start doing the legwork, physical legwork, and really start connecting with nature, really start disconnecting from the matrix as much as I can. I'm not saying completely, but as much as I can within the right speed, at the right time, in the right place. Everything has to be done in the correct way without shocking my family or myself or my system. Obviously, it's a slow, gradual shift that you have to take, because if you do it too drastically, it creates chaos in your life and you end up worse off. So there has to be a lot of wisdom with how we do these things. So for myself, it's not just about, oh, I'm going to stop paying my rent or my mortgage or my bills and buy a van tomorrow and just start traveling tomorrow without any thought or without any whatever. There has to be a process of discernment, of wisdom. You've got to be sure about what you're doing and how you're going to do it and know what you are doing and why you're doing it. So right now, that is the process I'm in. Over the next 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 months, it's a process of planning and preparing and getting myself and my family ready. And then when we're ready as a family, then we'll start disconnecting properly.
Well, we wish you well in that. And like I say, maybe I'll be joining you.
I hope so. I was really surprised at how many people are actually doing this. I just couldn't believe it, because unless you're in those circles, you don't really know many people. But like I said, since I met Josh and a few other people, and they start introducing you to other people, and you're like, wow, there are literally thousands of people doing this, more and more every day, going, do you know what, to hell with this, I'm out. And they just disconnect and they get themselves either a piece of land somewhere, or they buy a bus or a camper van, they turn it into a nice mobile home, and they just travel around the country or whatever, or the world sometimes, depending on your circumstances or your resources, what you have. Or they pull together and they get a piece of land and they build a commune and live together because they've got common interests. So there is more and more of this happening, not just Flat Earth, but there are vegans doing it. There's a place called Vigoa, I think, in Portugal, that's been set up. There are many of these communities coming up. Flat Earth, we're yet to do it. There's a lot of talk about it. Oh, Flat Earthers, we need to get together. We've got something in common. But no one's actually really genuinely taken the steps to try and make that happen.
There's Michael Tellinger.
Yes, brilliant. Good example, Michael Tellinger. That's the best example. Yeah. What he's doing is absolutely phenomenal. He's actually he's walking the walk. He's doing it. Instead of whinging about it, he's found solutions and he's trying to put those solutions into practice. Hats off to him. Hats off to him.
Yeah. Ubuntu, man.
Ubuntu, yeah.
Movement, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I heard he's going to a university now. to teach about the Ubuntu movement.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's something to do with the ancient ruins in South Africa, with the gold mining and the giants. And wow, it was amazing.
That's brilliant.
I don't know if you've seen his latest video. He was saying basically that the gold they find is something to do with the, when you say it's a vein of gold inside the earth, and they're saying like that. So it's supposed to be from giants, for petrified giants in their veins, in their blood system. That's what gold is. You get me?
Yeah, I think I've seen that one. Yeah. And he's saying that a lot of the stones they're finding are organs of ancient giants.
That one.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating. It really is fascinating. And that's his journey. So fair play to him.
Yes.
I take my hat off to him for following his calling and actually doing something about it instead of just complaining.
Yeah, that's where you have to let your conscience lead you to that discovery and your self-awareness and how to find out things about life. That's the best thing. That's synchronicity, totally, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I was thinking about that word about the oil, the petroleum. Petro.
Yeah.
Is petroleum. So petra means stone, and oilium, it means oil. So stone. So I was thinking that if these giants actually lived on Earth and there was a massive battle between them, like in the book of Enoch, and they all died and they both buried, petrified under the earth. So the oil that we have, that they found, is actually from their body. It is not fossil fuel like they say.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard it from that perspective, but
I thought about it when I saw this Michael Tellinger. I said, yeah, because if you boil wet oil, is something that is found in living things, in plants, in even animals, humans. I mean, if you boil pork, for example, and then you put it in the fridge, next day you see on the top, you see the oil sticks on the top, yeah?
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
So if these giants were petrified and buried under there and they are warming up somehow, the oil goes on the top. Maybe that's what's the oil we use now for the petrol.
A lot of giants then.
Yeah, it must have been many, isn't it?
Yeah,
thousands,
makes sense.
Millions, or not? Millions of giants, and even the giant trees. So everything put together, that's where the oil comes from. I think it's not my it's my imagination. Just listening to Michael Tellinger, I came to that because of the word. That it's all embedded in etymology. The word tells you the truth. It leads you to the truth. That's why it was made. That's why they give names to things, not only to humans or to animals. Everything has a name. So the name is the truth. And there you have to seek from the name, the word, and you can find where it comes from. Interesting.
It's all incredible, isn't it? I was thinking as well, it just made me flip through something. I was telling people yesterday about Coombe Hill, which happens to be a hill not too far from where I used to live, right next to it. And it's the biggest chalk hill in England, and chalk is crushed shell. So it's in the middle of England. But what it is it's part of the Ridgeway Walk, which goes from Oxford to down, from there to Oxford. So that the ancient people, we used to walk along the top of the hills because we were covered in trees, oak trees. But when you're standing up there, I'm not saying when you're standing down there, the trees aren't maybe quite tall, but when you're standing on top of the hill, I just can't see why they needed to have the Ridgeway walk to get anywhere, because the trees would have had to have been absolutely enormous if they couldn't see anything but trees, because the hill's so high. Do you see what I mean? Like, they can't even tell. If that story about walking along the Ridgeway isn't a flat Earth thing. That's something, because I lived near there. You know, that's part of the history. So you think, well, how big were the trees then? If they had to walk along these ridges.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Just
definitely.
like, all we just don't know.
I think during the golden ages, so according to my cosmic clock, the calendar, in about 12,000 years from now, in the golden ages, we become larger. You know, everything grows, everything, you know, the air changes, our cells change, and we become larger, we grow, we live for longer. We're superhumans, we're titans, like the ancients said. So for 6,000 years during the golden ages, all the races on Earth are gigantic, are huge, including humans. Us, what we call humans here, us, we're huge. And then we start to get small. As we come out of the golden age, we start to shrink. Our lifespan becomes lower and lower and lower and lower. And that cycle continues round and round and round and round. So these giants, some of them might have been from a golden age, maybe 3 epochs ago, maybe 2 epochs ago. You know, we don't know what epoch they're from, but I certainly think they're from probably a golden age. In the golden age, this is when we're giants, if you like. That's my hypothesis anyway.
Yeah.
You can sort of see it on buildings, can't you? The ancient buildings, at least some of them are very small for the pygmy kind of people, but there are also some that are really tall. You'd have to be about 10 foot tall or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
there's so much, isn't there?
Yeah, no, there is. Unfortunately, you know, this is also something that, well, I don't even know if it's relevant, but unfortunately, because everything is quite late in the date, if, and I say this with a big if I am correct about this timeline, 2020, or round about that time of this event happening, we are waking up really late in the day. It's really, really late in the day. And at this point, anything that is not associated with the event is a distraction and a waste of time. For me, there's no point in looking at ancient giants. I mean, how is that going to change our future? How is that going to improve our lives? Knowing whether there were giants that once lived. Okay, they were there. So what? Right. So for me, when I see those things, they're great. I'm not saying that let's not research it. Let's research it. But I always think that maybe we need to move on from that as quickly as we can. All right, I found out this. There was a mud flood that happened. Great. Okay, fine. We know there was a mud flood. How does that impact my life right now? And how does that impact my future? Where I'm going? The here and the now and the future. How is any of that information going to impact me or help me? And if it doesn't, then it's great knowledge. Awesome. I'm glad I now know it, but I need to move on. So I get a little bit frustrated. I know I shouldn't get frustrated, but I'm human. When I see people going on and on and on and on and on about the history, about the past, you know, the whole giants thing. The next 20 years, we'll still be talking about giants. There were once giants on Earth. 20 years down the line. And it's like, well, okay, great, we get it. Let's move on. So I think it's quite important that we don't get caught in these traps. And I think a lot of this information that's being brought out is being brought out deliberately to keep us distracted from the main event, from the main thing that really matters. And if, and I say this with a big if I'm correct about this event and how it's going to play out, right? The idea is, if you're a controller, you want to keep people preoccupied with nonsense, with things that don't matter, and catch them by surprise. Because when you catch someone by surprise, they are easier to control, right? They are more afraid. They're not prepared, right? Problem, reaction, solution. So if everyone has got their heads down in the sand and they're all just fighting and squabbling or trying to look at this or researching this, and then all of a sudden we wake up tomorrow and something massive happens in the world tomorrow. Let's assume it happens tomorrow. Just imagine how chaotic and confused people will be because they've not seen it coming. They're not prepared. And those people that are prepared can control the masses that are not prepared. They can say, oh, you're hungry, are you? Oh, you're thirsty, are you? Oh, you don't know what's happening. We'll tell you what's happening. We'll control you. We'll lead you. But you need a microchip if you want our help. We'll have to put a microchip in you. And of course, you'll have no choice at that time because you're hungry, you're thirsty, you don't know where you are, you don't know what's happening, you don't know anything. So you'll just take whatever you're given. And that is the ultimate game. This is why they gave us flat Earth. This is why they're leaking things about giants. These elites are giving us this information deliberately to keep us preoccupied. Give the children crayons and colors and coloring books. Keep them preoccupied. So they don't know what's happening and what's coming.
It is a bit strange though, isn't it, Martin? I hear exactly what you're saying. You're saying, okay, I've understood all that, but let's move on.
Yeah.
But it is a bit freaky, isn't it, to realise the whole of our past is just an absolute lie. All of it. And, you know, I do appreciate Martin Leakey. Like, I really love the stuff that he's doing. But I understand we've got to move on. But his calling's for the past and yours is for the future.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be done, but I'm saying there should be a destination to what you're saying. There should be a, you know, if I carried on going on and on about the cosmic egg, right? What purpose does that serve? Fine. Yes, it's a cosmic egg. Now imagine if I kept making videos after video, banging the drum about cosmic egg. Oh, we live in a cosmic egg. There are other realms. Oh, we live in a cosmic egg, over and over and over again, every single day. Eventually, it's like, well, yes, Martin, we get it. Okay, yes, you cosmic egg, great, fantastic. So what? So what? I'm still paying taxes. I'm still getting poisoned. I'm still getting lied to. How is your information changing anything? And that is all I'm saying, that yes, let's research this stuff. Yes, let's bring it out. But I'm hoping if there are big researchers out there who are serious about truth, we move on a bit. We get to the point. Get to the point is what I'm trying to say. What is the point of what you're trying to research or trying to give out? Because the honest truth is, Karen, just imagine if this event does happen, all this research we're doing could be wiped out completely and forgotten. It really could. If a big event happens tomorrow, people will not give a damn about our history. Everyone will be too preoccupied with what's happening now, the new world. And everyone will just forget. And I think this has happened before. I think this has happened before. In 1860, when the last mud flood happened, they completely reset the timeline, and a few days later, everyone forgot about history completely. Recontrolled, reprogrammed. Now, the same thing could happen now. We are repeating the same mistakes right now as we speak. We're doing the same thing. And that for me is the sad part of all of this. Because I see it so clearly. I see it as clear as daylight that 20 years from now, if the elites get their way, all this work we're doing, the cosmic egg, no one will know about this cosmic egg. It'll be a flash in the past. Eventually, future generations, 3-4 generations down the line, they will just believe what they've been told in school or on TV or whatever it is they're being told. And all this work that I'm doing now will be pointless. And it probably will. So just reset everything.
Well, I suppose if there's going to be a change, you have to set everything out first, don't you?
Yes. 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 So I'm not saying this to scare anyone or to try and discourage anyone from doing any research or looking into stuff or any of this. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is do your research, that's great, but alongside that, you know, think about the future. Think about your future. Where do you want to be? What is it you want for yourself right now in your life? What changes are you making right now? Practical, real life changes. Real life. Not YouTube, not social media, Facebook, whatever. In your own life, are you making the necessary changes? And also in the future, what is it you're doing to get to where you want to get to in the future? What is your future? Where do you see yourself in the future? And what are you doing to make those necessary steps? Because if you're not doing it, someone else is going to do it for you. Someone will determine your future for you. If you're still in the system and you're just doing things that you've always done, but all you're doing is making videos and posting things on Facebook 24/7, but you're not actually doing anything in your own real life, to change your paradigm, I'm sorry to say, but you're wasting your time. Pointless.
The time is here and the time is now.
Here and now. Are you in the here and are you in the now? It's time to start walking the walk and not just talking the talk.
Such a positive outlook you have. Really appreciated. The chat room are agreeing and writing away there. Yep. If we want to change, we've got to change it.
Yep, and it starts with me, with you. It starts with our own selves in your own home. Every day I wake up in the morning, I say, what positive change I'm going to make in my life today and in my family? Is there one thing I can improve on today? One thing. Is there one thing I can change today within myself? Right? And it's those small steps. Is there one thing I can change this month? One big thing. Is there one thing I need to change next year? Right? And you give ourselves markers and we start making those steps. And I'm not saying that we should make drastic steps. So if you're eating meat, I'm not saying stop tomorrow. But maybe say to yourself, look, maybe I need to cut down on this meat thing, right? I know it's hard, but maybe I'll just start having meat one day a week for the next 2 months and see what happens. Right? Let me try this plant-based thing 3 times a week. And maybe have meat on the weekends. Right? Give yourself markers. Start trying to be the change you wish to see. Start trying, at least trying to change within yourself. And then everything else around you will work itself around. And you'll find yourself in the right place at the right time when the right time comes. Because you've made the steps. God helps those who help themselves. Very important. God helps those who help themselves. The universe will help those who help themselves. If you're not helping yourself, don't expect anyone to come and change things for you and give you a magic wand and say, swing, here's your perfect life. You're free and you're saved. Doesn't happen that way.
Yes, I think we're living in such a strange place when the news, when people can see it, flat earthers, not flat earthers, whoever they are, that even the news are lying, like those hurricanes pretending they're waist deep in water, or the wind's so bad they can hardly stand, and people are just walking behind them. It was windy, but not like they said. And I saw another one where they did this link up with these 2 people, and they said that they were having a satellite link up. And actually, they were in the same car park, because what went past the windows and one went past the second one. And it's like it changes. It was golly, and what? And nobody in the government saying anything? This is this is great. Just on that one thing. Don't forget, there's the rest with how many things like the gyro. That proves things. There's just NASA, and it's still going as if it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. It's insanity. It's insanity. It really is.
Yes. So the people have to do it, don't they?
Yep. We have the power. We, the people, have the power. Definitely.
Yes, even if you don't realise it.
Yes. Yes.
But they need the people, don't they? One way or other, because if they don't have the people, then they can't have anything to control.
Well, yeah. Good point. And if we're again, I'm sorry to keep beating the drum and going on and on about it, but if you're controlling people and all they're doing is complaining or fighting or arguing, that is exactly where you want them. Right? You want them there. You want them complaining and arguing and doing all these things. Perfect place, because they're distracted. Because they'll just carry on doing the things you want them to do, and what they want you to do is pay your taxes, contribute to the system, keep the machine going.
Don't ask
them in power.
Don't ask any questions.
And even if you do ask any questions, it doesn't matter. What are you going to do about it? Ask as many questions as you like. I don't care. That's what I would think if I was a controller. Okay, ask. I'm not going to give you an answer. That's why NASA never responds to flat earthers. Government they never talk about flat earth, because you flat earthers, you can talk all you like. What are you doing about it? Nothing. You're just talking. So as long as you keep talking, we don't care. Life goes on. You'll still pay your taxes. That's the bitter truth.
It doesn't help. I mean, like we said, in one sense, we're here because of Google Hangouts and YouTube and stuff like that. But in another sense, we all know that they're masking it now. I mean, you hear that everybody's beginning to wake up and people are starting to go out like Flat Earth Dude now. People are going, yes, I've heard of it. Or do you know what I mean? Like this time last year, they didn't. And they're still masking everything and pretending this isn't happening.
Yeah. Yep. And they'll continue to do so until the event. And that's the whole point. Because it won't make a difference. When the event happens, it will not make a difference. So we'll just keep ignoring it and pretending it's not happening, pretending there's nothing happening. And there's this echo chamber of us just amongst ourselves, talking about whatever we're talking about, our individual conspiracy theories, because they know if they can just ride out the wave till the time comes when the event happens, it won't matter. Because people, we have short memories. We forget very quickly. It takes one event, one disturbance.
This is a bad one then. For the race now, it's going to be a bad one. This is what you're saying. This is going to be a big change again. So if we haven't got it now and worked out how we're going to do it, it'd be a bit late in 2020.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. I think it's already too late now. I don't think we can change the plans now. I think it's too late in the day. I mean, it would take something huge to change the paradigm of what will happen, if the timeline is correct, that is. Now, it could be wrong. It might be 2030 and we might have time. So, yeah, I'm not saying we should stop doing this, but I'm saying I kind of feel like now is the time that we start talking the talk and not just start walking the talk and not just talking it, and actually start doing something. And I don't mean like a revolution or fighting or anything. I mean, start doing something in our own individual lives, setting an example, and then people around us will see that example and they will start to follow and they will start to come along.
Yes, I think a lot of people are ready for the change, really.
I think so.
Because it's almost like we've got to flat Earth, and then there's a big isn't there? Because like people, we want to move on. There are other people. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's got the Project Lumen. Aaron Earth. What's he called? Oh my goodness, Earth Aaron. He's got a whole system where spirituality, working out even to he's using, I think, his own Bitcoin, but he's got a whole plan where we can look after ourselves. We turn our back on that. I might just introduce you to him if you haven't heard from him, about him, because he's got a whole, his whole program. I mean, he hasn't lately, but he showed us inside the program on Hangouts before, and it's a tree. And it's even about making NASA accountable for all the lying, flat Earth television. It's about having this whole life differently. I mean, yours is going off grid. His isn't maybe going quite so off grid, but it's about looking after ourselves differently.
Yeah. Please do link him on. Yeah, and that's what we should be doing, coming up with different solutions. And we might not all agree on the solutions, but the more solutions there are, the more options people have. So, like you're saying, my solution of going off grid and doing what I'm doing might not be for you, but there might be someone else out there who's got a different solution of doing something that is for you. So it's good. It's good. But the most important thing is, are we doing something about it, or are we just talking? So yeah, please do link me up to him.
You're so right, because we can talk about all the past, or we can talk about things, but someone on the line, we've got to start doing it.
Yep.
But it's okay to talk, isn't it? Because at the moment, that's where most of it is with us talking. But that's good, isn't it? Because a couple of years ago, how many of us were communicating, or like there's people in the chat room listening, writing questions, talking to each other there about what you're saying. So a few years ago, this wasn't happening. So we have actually moved on quite a lot in a way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Oh, we have.
Edge.
Oh, we have. And platforms like this, chat rooms like yourself and other people who host stuff, we need this to carry on for sure. This cannot stop. If you went off grid or whatever, you would need to carry on doing what you're doing, because this is so important. It keeps people connected. It keeps people in touch. It's fantastic. So the same thing with me. I'm not going to stop making videos and communicating through my online channels. I will continue to do that. So I won't stop that just because I'm off grid. I will continue to do that, but just in a different light, in a different way now. And not just talking, but actually showing that I'm doing something about it, if you like.
Something else, Martin. Excuse me, Astro King. Sorry, he's put it in twice now. He just wanted to ask, do you think that there is an increased psychic behavior, power? People are more psychic now, or becoming more psychic?
Yes. Yeah, no doubt about that. Yes. And not just psychic, all kinds of abilities. There are videos of, I've got a friend actually, Seven Risers in Canada, and he's been practicing telekinesis, so moving objects with energy with his chi, and he does some amazing things. So the answer is absolutely yes. As we're awakening, we are also activating dormant DNA, and this dormant DNA is manifesting in all kinds of ways. So again, find your element, find out what your talent is, what your gift is, and then start practicing it. Start exercising that muscle. It is a muscle. My muscle is connecting dots. So in order to practice that muscle, I've got to do research and find dots to connect. If I'm not looking for dots to connect, I'm not practicing my superpower. I'm not utilizing the full ability of my superpower. So it's not going to manifest itself. Right? So that person asking about psychic, I'm assuming that is something they're interested in. Practice it, right? Start finding a way to put that into practice. Because I promise you, the more you practice it, the more you exercise that element, the better you'll become at it. And then eventually you'll start to discover you are doing some pretty crazy stuff.
Yes, I like that. I wish there was more people like you living around me.
Yeah, likewise. We'll get together, Karen. Don't you worry. Those of us who are on the same journey, wherever we are in the world, we'll all find each other slowly but surely. No doubt about that.
I love my family very much, but they're all Nephilim. I tell you, somebody made me realise something the other day, because I was talking about something and I was just saying, like, how come for me I'm quite empathic and they're not? And someone said, well, it's not that they're not empathic. They're only empathic for themselves, not for anyone else. But I'm empathic for everyone else.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is difficult. Once you awaken, and not just once you awaken, but if you're an empathic person and you've got that spirit or that energy, it just becomes painful because you notice that everyone else around you is only in for themselves. They really, really don't care about anything other than me, 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 me. Unfortunately, but unfortunately, that's where we are at this time, in this place. That is the state of affairs we're in. So we've just got to make the most of it.
Yeah, I just find it really weird though for myself. So, because somebody put in the chat room comment, I feel for you, Karen. It's like they trusted me all those years to be their mum, but now they don't trust me at all, sort of thing. It's like, what? And you've got more freedom in yourself, because it might still be really difficult and there's a long way to go, but you know in your head and your heart and your body, you're more free. Even if you've got ailments, but you're still more free. And then you look at them and it's just, to me, it's just, I almost can't cope with it anymore. I just feel so sad.
Yeah.
Because they just don't get it, do they? Just only see themselves and they're in the clique, and maybe I was, but I don't know. I just don't, I don't think I ever was. I think I've always been different.
Well, you say that, Karen, but there is a time and place for everything and everyone. And whenever I feel the way that you're saying now, because I feel like that time to time, and just think to myself, well, why? I don't understand this. I always have to remind myself that this is a journey, and everyone is on their own journey, and it's not fair for me to try and force people to be like me. Again, free choice. People need to live their own lives. They need to experience their own things. They need to have their own experiences, their own growth, and we have to allow them to do that. And it's not fair for me, just because I've reached a certain stage, to try and push or force someone to be where I'm at. That is not a kind thing to do. So when I speak to people in my family,
you said that
I don't get,
about
I don't.
immaturity, spiritual immaturity, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't get frustrated with people anymore in my family. I don't get upset anymore, or if they judge me. In a way, I hate to say it this way, but I see children. When I speak to my parents, it's like I'm speaking to a child. They're my parents, and I respect them and love them, but as far as I'm concerned, I might as well be speaking to a child spiritually. So I'm empathic to them spiritually, like I would be to a small child. If a 2-year-old child did something, I wouldn't get upset with them and lose sleep over it, because I'll be like, well, it's a 2-year-old child. Why am I upset that the 2-year-old child said that? He's 2. He doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's saying. It's the same thing with on a spiritual level. I meet some people, and within me, I just go, do you know what? I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get triggered. I'm not going to get sucked into this, because this person is a child spiritually. They do not understand who they are, what they are, or what's going on. I must be patient, and I must be kind to them. I always have to remind myself that. Always, always, always.
So you don't try telling them this. I've tried talking
No.
to my parents over the years, and in that now, I've got nothing to say.
Yeah, no, don't. You're just wasting your time. Again, if you start being the change, if you start physically doing things and they see the change within you physically, that is more likely to convince them than constantly telling them. If I'm constantly telling people, oh, the earth is flat, and I'm just talking, but I'm still living a life just like them, I'm still paying bills just like them, I'm still going to work just like them, then they'll just say, well, you're saying all these things, but actually your life is no different to mine, really. In fact, they'll even say, my life is better than yours. I've got a nice car. I've got a nicer house. I've got nicer things than you. So you're standing there telling me about how awesome your life is. You've got nothing. So at that point, what's the point?
I've just thought about something else, Martin, as well. It's just a bit of past history. It's something that, I thought I learned a long time ago, that it's probably one of my sociology lessons or something, that when you've had a big war, it can take a couple of generations to recover from that war.
Mhm.
Well, that's what's happening now. This is the recovery, partly because they've had big wars. Yeah, it was on purpose, but
Yes.
it was all
Yeah,
on
yeah.
purpose. But now we're a couple of generations on. We're starting to wake up now because
Yeah,
you
brilliant.
know, we're not. We're always at war. It seems the Western world's always at war with the other side, but in our own countries, we're not fighting.
Brilliant. And this goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago, and I was saying, unless we're doing something about it, it's pointless because they will always find a way to reset things. And I think that's what World War One and World War Two were. They were just resets. You know, I think if we dug deep enough, we'd find out that people was probably starting to wake up around about the 1900s. So something happened in the mid 1800s, around about 1860, the Carrington event, a mud flood. Something happened around that time. So of course, the generations leading up to the 1900s were still trying to recover from that event. So those 50 years / 100 years right up to 1950 was a recovery. And then we had the world wars, obviously. World War One, 1914, World War Two, 1930, whatever it was. I think that was to try and suppress the awakening. People waking up, so let's suppress it. So they created a war. And like you're saying, for the last 50 years, or whatever it is, from World War Two, we've been recovering. We've been trying to get back on our feet consciously, spiritually, and physically, in all kinds of ways. And now we're starting to wake up again. So no doubt, even if this event that I'm talking about doesn't happen, even if I'm wrong about this event, I guarantee you the powers that be will create a reset scenario, a world war or something to reset things so we forget again and the system will continue.
I totally agree with you. You know the bit about like in the early 1900s, up 1918, all that kind of stuff. It seemed that through research on this channel, artists it was, we were going very electric. You know, these things could go really fast. The batteries lasted for ages. And then what it is you live in this place where it now says, oh, the fumes and the carbons and this and taxes and it's terrible. And actually, we were the very place we should have been. And then those wars destroyed all that.
Yep.
And then came at that with oil, petrol, going to the moon. We've got television, the globe, time savings.
Yep. Yeah. And unfortunately, it looks like history might repeat itself. Because if we're just doing lip service and not doing anything about it, then the reset is even easier. Unfortunately. And this is why it's so important that we really start moving forward and not just focusing on the past, looking in the rearview mirror, but now looking at the future. So like Ubuntu, that's great. So even if they do a reset, if that infrastructure, that whole Ubuntu thing has got a big enough infrastructure, even if there is a reset, at least that blueprint hopefully might survive that reset. There might be enough people who survive that reset or live through that reset to keep that fire burning and keep that flame going. So in the new world, at least there's something to challenge the new world order. At least there's something else. There's an alternative for people. So it's to be celebrated.
Yeah. Wow. I've really, really enjoyed this talk, Martin. You said we would have a short one today. We've been going for 2.5 hours just to let you know.
Oh my God, have we? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you want to, because obviously you're going to come back next week with Josh, aren't you?
Yes.
Very much appreciate that, because you said me on Sun and Moon a lot, but we so appreciate if you got to say. And I think actually the chat, remember, we're breathing a lot slower now.
Yeah.
Deeper breath.
Yeah. Unfortunately, today was it was quite deep and quite heavy. I get that. And but next week it'll be a bit more exciting, hopefully, and a bit more lively again.
I wasn't meaning it like that. I mean, if we were racing through our brains, listening to you, it's all calm now. Calm.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much for having me on, Karen and Carl.
Oh, pleasure.
I've enjoyed myself.
And I know that the chat room will really look forward to you and Josh next week as well.
Yeah, I look forward to it too.
Yeah, we say goodbye off air. Costa, do you want to say anything? Flat Earth Dude, if you're there, or Patricia? They're all muted. They're not going to unmute. Okay, then. Chat room. Mwah. Thank you so much. Martin, that was amazing. Time is now. And see you next week.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everyone.
Costa's there. Costa?
Good night. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Martin. Thanks, Karen. Thank you, everyone, for listening. What nice information. Have a good night. Have a good night. Bye, everyone.
Hey, Flat Earth Dude.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, it was too heavy, man. Sorry. I'm just not very fun. No, I'm kidding. No, it was great. So true. Everything you've got the keys, man. Thanks for sharing the keys to this thing, man. Because for all of us, man, we all have good days and bad days, and we're trying to get through this. And they do throw a lot of obstacles in our way to steer us around and spin us around in balls and stuff. So thank you for all you're doing. Again, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Yeah, big Flat Earth hugs from us, Martin, and everybody on our panel. Anyway, we are back tomorrow with Crow 777 tomorrow. Anyway, Martin, thank you so much. We'll say goodbye off air.
Cheers, guys.